The Arizona state legislature, now that the Senate got involved, has passed Convention of States, a resolution. It's state number 9. Now we need 34. And I believe if we get to 20, then we'll start to get Washington's attention. But this is very, very important. It's very, very important. And Zoe in Champaign, Illinois, listening on WMAL online, has some concerns. So, Zoe, I can't spend all night on this, so get right to your points. Go right ahead.
I guess my big concern is how can I know that the progressives won't somehow get control of it if it passes? And
all right, one at a time. I'll let you have 2 or 3, okay? How do we know the progressives won't get control of this? Let me ask you a question, Zoe, and then I'll answer it. The 9 states that have done this so far are red states. Why do you think 9 red states have done this?
Because they see that we've lost our Constitution in our, the courts have taken control and our Constitution isn't being followed around the country, and I appreciate.
And most of the states are red, correct?
Correct.
And we claim to support federalism, correct?
Correct.
And this is a quintessential act of federalism, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's walk through a scenario. How would the progressives take control of the process?
I'm not sure I know, but they're so...
All right, I know, but I don't want to talk in platitudes. This is way too important. The answer is they can't. First of all, more than a majority of the state legislatures are red. Secondly, to adopt, that is, to ratify a constitutional amendment, whether it's coming from Congress or the state convention process, requires 38 state legislatures or, in the alternative, 38 state conventions, which means it takes 13 states to stop anything, period. So whatever the progressives would propose, assuming they all of a sudden would control the convention, and I don't know how they would do that, considering they're in the minority, but let's just play along and say they would. It would take 13 states to stop them. You think we have 13 states to stop them?
I would like to think so, and I guess if it were...
No, the answer is, I'm not dealing with likes. The answer is yes, we have 13 states to stop them.
All right.
I can name them. Utah, Idaho, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. You can name them too. Arizona, Tennessee. Go ahead. What?
It's just that I see things happen in places that, like Florida, even Texas, that I never thought I'd see happen.
All right, Zoe, let me listen. This is the problem. You're saying, I've seen things happen. I know the progressives. I'm going through the process, and you're responding in vague, kind of shoot from the hip stuff. Let me try it with you this way. Well, what else can we possibly do, Zoe?
I think you may be right that we need to do this, but I think I just guess I'm asking.
I'll give you an example right now. Look at the immigration issue, taken completely out of our hands. Look at the marriage issue, taken completely out of our hands. Look at the abortion issue, taken completely out of our hands. And I can go down the list how many issues have been taken completely out of our hands. It's either controlled by the elected branches in Washington or by the unelected branches in Washington. We have a federal bureaucracy that issues almost 4,000 laws a year without our input, without our consent. We have a Supreme Court where they nationalize issues and just decide they'll make the final decision. We have Congress that keeps playing with our health care system like it's Play-Doh, really almost no input from us, and people are wringing their hands. I'm worried about this, I'm worried about this. The march of soft tyranny is taking place. The Constitution has been twisted into a pretzel. I refuse to defend what's going on and pretend that elect a few here and elect a few there, and these things will be reversed. Even when you elect a Ronald Reagan, even when you elect, if you like, Trump or this one or that one, they resist everything. All of a sudden, the courts that said the president has plenary power when it comes to immigration act like the president has no power. Why? Because the progressives are in these courts because the progressives are in the media. It's not a conspiracy. It's a reality.
Yes.
And so I don't understand when we say, give the power back to the states. And when the Constitution says the states have this incredible power, they can together be more powerful than the federal. I'm nervous about this because the progressives will get control. The progressives have control.
All right. Okay. Well,
your next question.
I'm coming around to it. I really am.
Do you have a copy of the Liberty Amendments, by the way?
Are you talking about your book?
Before you hang up, yeah, you must not. Don't hang up. I want to hear your next question, but we're going to send you a copy of the Liberty Amendment so you can read it. Go ahead. Your next,
all right.
and
well,
unfortunately, last question.
My other thing that I wanted to say is, when I first heard you talking about it, and I went on Eagle Forum and found out Phyllis.
Oh, there's your problem. But go ahead.
Okay, but I guess if you would really admit that people who are worried, who have concerns, care too, that we really...
Zoe, let me tell you, if you're looking for Gestalt stuff from me, that ain't ever going to happen. I'm arguing with my... Hold on now. It's up to these people to want to defend their country. It's not up to me to convince them. I wrote an entire book on this process.
All right.
Which you have not read.
No, I have not.
Hold on. Which most of the Eagle Forum people have not read. And so I've put everything on the line on this. I've explained it in every way I can using history and scholarship and persuasion and so forth and so on. If it comes down to Mark, you really have to understand what... No. The country's, is in perilous situation now. Our constitutional system really doesn't even exist anymore. I don't even know what you would define this as. The progressives have succeeded in so many ways. They've always attacked separation of powers. They always attacked natural law under the Declaration and so forth. And we have to give them their due, as contemptible as they are. Now, if people who are conservative see what's going on and are concerned about what's going on and then reject the constitutional fix because of Eagle Forum or the John Birch Society or Concerned Women for America, there's nothing I can do for them. Nothing. All right, I've got to go. Don't hang up. I want to send you the Liberty Amendments, and I would encourage you, rather than reading the Eagle Forum website on this issue, you go to Convention of States, where they actually know something about this and have dug into this and have researched it thoroughly. And there'll be more coming out on this. For instance, Coburn will be having a book. I'm not going to get into it coming out on this, and Tom Coburn knows what he's talking about as well. All right. You know, most people are scared of doing bold things. And yet these are times that call for bold things. You're not going to find really detailed information about the Convention of States process and so forth at Eagle Forum. You're going to find scaremongering. Same with Concerned Women for America, same with the John Birch Society. They are in these states fighting us. They are defending, in effect, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's interpretation of the Constitution, Anthony Kennedy's interpretation of the Constitution, because that's what we're talking about. They act like 100 years of progressivism hasn't occurred. They act like the Constitution as written is the Constitution as applied. And the only way to even have a chance at addressing this is to pull back power into the hands of the state legislatures, thereby making it more possible for we the people to have some say. Now, some of you who live in very, very dark states, what I talk about in the Liberty Amendments is 3/5 of the state legislatures together having the action to do certain things or to stop certain things. One of the reasons Donald Trump is having so much trouble right now is one of the reasons Ronald Reagan had so much trouble. It's because the system has transformed. When you elect a liberal as president, the system has transformed to benefit the liberals. When you elect a conservative or a non-liberal as president, the system has formed to thwart them. So when I hear state representatives or state senators, pseudo-conservatives, who reject their own responsibility because they have power under Article 5 of the Constitution, then I realize they're just full of crap. They're just all talk.
The question facing us and facing our fellow countrymen is a two-word question, very simply, who decides? The American founders had a simple answer: we, the people, decide. Anything's possible. America is built on the impossible.